good afternoon all. I was about to say evening all, which technically isn't a lie if you're over this side of the world. So I'm currently broadcasting live from Australia. So evening all, or good afternoon if you're over Andy's side of the world in the UK. So just literally, we were about to go live and then Andy's screen started flashing and beeping. What is going on with that, mate?
Well, I've got an alert to just review Bitcoin for a possible selling opportunity. So I always put the alert slightly before the actual signal, so it gives me a little bit of time.
Awesome. So we shouldn't really take too much longer till we jump onto the Bitcoin analysis then, right? Or it might end up costing you a bit of money.
No, don't worry. That's fine. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Cool. Well, I think we should just jump in. Today. Let's just do a few highs to people tuning in. Thank you very much if you're joining us live. If it's your first time in the group, welcome. My name's Gavin, the host. This is Crypto Like a Pro with our resident professional in-house trader, Mr. Andy Demi, professional trader, trader for over 18 years, worked on some of the biggest banks and hedge funds in London. Now, almost part-time compared to the hours that you used to do on the trading floors, right, mate? But you're a full-time retail trader from the comfort of your own home and your 21 TV screens.
Exactly, 21 TV screens and 3 kids. That's basically it. A very simple summary of my life.
That could be the title of a good book, mate. I'm not sure that I'd read it though. So just checking in with a few people. And Andy's in the house. Doesn't mind being called Andy. I remember that from last week. Nicholas is broadcasting or tuning in live from YouTube because we are broadcasting live on YouTube. We've got Nick also here on the Gold Coast. No, you're not first this time. Sorry, mate. So we have a little competition to see who's first. Kevin, you were close. I really like that photo. That car reminds me of the Dukes of Hazzard. What does it remind you of when you look at that?
Nothing in particular.
Oh, come on. Nothing.
No.
Do you not even remember the Dukes of Hazzard, mate?
No.
What?
Well, you are wow. Older than me.
That was really mean. There was no need to say that, was there?
Well, I'm just stating
playground bullying.
How you take that is up to you. When I state a fact, how you interpret that, mate.
I look good for 64, so I'm happy. I'm okay.
Yeah, for 64, okay, I agree. You do look good. Not for your age, though.
Oh, now you're just being bitchy. Now you are just being bitchy. Let me finish the hello. So we've got Gary tuning in live with us. Great to have you with us, Gary. Claire in the house. Roy is in the house. Great to have you with us. Slavomir is also in the house. Oh, Nick, you were the first comment on Facebook. I take that back. So if you're new to the show, we see who can be the first person to make a comment. But Paul Bridgman, yo, dudes, exclamation mark. You are the first comment of the day. So let's jump straight into the content because Andy's got a live trade alert. We don't want to cost him any money because he will get grumpy. If there's one thing that can be guaranteed, get between Andy and his money making, and he will be a grumpy bugger. So we don't want that. We want to give as much value as possible and not cost Andy any money. So Gav, oh, this is quite funny. Gav, will you take to 64 to be able to grow a beard? Yes, that's the best. That's the best I can do at the moment. Sorry about that. There we go. Anyway, so let's get back into
it.
Mate, so would I. But until puberty kicks in, puberty kicks in, it's not going to happen.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Like that's about 2 weeks, mate.
A Santa one.
Oh, okay. No. You could probably do that, though, couldn't you?
Easily, by next week.
You should do that, mate. You should do that. That would be quite funny. So, a new name that I haven't seen before. Great to have you with us. We do have new members, like I say, joining us every day and every week. Hi, Andy. Some analysts are saying that crypto are still in a downtrend, but it looks like Ethereum is broken out of the resistance levels. Well, BJ, you are in the right place because today we are going to break down the Ethereum charts and the Bitcoin charts live from the perspective of professional trader, Mr. Andy Demi. But we're also going one further because we want to kind of help dispel some of the myths in the news and call out BS if it's BS or if there's a tinge of truth to it. So instead of just talking about what's going on in the news, let's actually break down the charts and see. So one of the things that really caught my attention in the last 24 hours is there's a load of news, or it could be propaganda on XRP. Now, Andy's traded XRP before. He's made a ton of cash on it for a very relative little investment. Now, the news rumor, if anybody's heard it, it's saying that XRP will get to $150 per coin on the next market cycle. Now, that is pending SEC investigations, blah, 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 blah. That always seems to be the caveat with XRP. However, I thought, why not just jump onto the charts with Mr. Demi and see if there is any truth in that, or if it is just a bunch of BS news. So how about we jump onto that and we'll check out and see if that's going to be true or false.
You want me to look at XRP, yeah?
Yeah,
No
let's do it.
No problem.
A few people are saying that as well in the comments. They've heard this myth or rumor. Yeah. Is there any truth to XRP and the likelihood that it could be going to $150 per coin by the end of this year?
All right, let's have a look.
That is the question for you today.
Well, yeah. Let's we'll do it from a charting point of view. So I haven't looked at this one for a little while, to be honest, but we're gonna take a big picture view.
Awesome.
And because
Amos is saying, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's do this. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube as well. Great to have you with us, Amos.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the chart, you know, I mean, from here to get to $150, I mean, that's not going to happen anytime soon. I mean, no matter what happens with the SEC, I don't know where $150 comes into it, but in one market cycle, this is one of the big guns. This is a high market cap cryptocurrency. I don't know where it's sitting in the rankings right now, but if you go to coinmarketcap.com, I mean, I'm bullish on it, but
yeah,
this is number 6. You know, we're talking about, you know, if you take number 6 and you get your calculator out. Hold on. And we do 150 divided by 0.71 roughly. You're looking at a 211x, right? 211x. So 211x, basically, if you take that if you times that market cap, so 211 times 33234367521. What market cap does that give us? That's just ridiculous.
That's huge.
Right? That's how many numbers is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, right? Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
3, 6, 9. So that's basically a bigger market cap than Bitcoin. Like, that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So you can say, and on this market cycle, not even less than 1% chance. So we can put that to bed. But having said that, I am bullish on this, and I think at these prices, it's it's a holding that I've got, and I think it's at a very nice price to buy. You know, just keeping it really, really simple, without going into depth on this one, because we'll do that with Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we've done. So we had this long range for a long time, and then we broke that range. We've come back to it. So old resistance becomes support. And if you zoom in now, You've got a nice morning star formation there, which may get tested. But for me, I think at these prices, as a long-term investment, anything from here to here is absolutely fine to buy. Now, I'm not saying it can't go lower. I'm not saying it can't go to zero. I mean, anything can happen. But from an investment point of view, as part of a portfolio, for me, this is a must to hold. There's
Why?
a lot of potential.
Why?
Well, because it's been dragged down a lot because of the news, because of the SEC. But despite that, it's still it's still number 6 in the rankings, but there's a lot of potential for growth, and it's one of the big guns. So like anything in the top 10 is what you would class as a safer investment. So when you start to invest in lower market cap cryptos, there's a lot of potential for growth, but also a lot of potential that they disappear. I find it highly unlikely that that's going to happen here. It wouldn't even be here because the SEC information is out there, but we're still number 6. We're still number 6 here. So for me, I mean, Cardano is looked at, for example, as one of the top ones, and that's number 5, and it's not that much bigger. Considering all the things that have happened with XRP, I think this is primed to go higher. So I think you wouldn't put all your money in it, you'd put it as part of a portfolio. That's the best way to invest anyway. And it's sitting at a value point. That's important. So anywhere between here and sort of 58 cents, even up to 55 cents for the long term looks good. I can just give you a couple of projections that I think would be worth looking at. So A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. So this is the current cycle right here. If I just take my fib retracement. So looking at that, you'd kind of be looking for a move back towards about there. $2.26, guys. That's where I'd be targeting. I think for the next market cycle, that's where I think there's potential. I mean, we could get into a lot of detail here, but I don't want to because I know we've got limited time, and I want to cover Ethereum and Bitcoin and anything else you want to ask me. I would say that there is a good starting point. So we'd be expecting something like that.
So a 3x return by the end of the year.
Well,
potentially.
If you buy it as an investment, yes. If you buy it as on spot, yes, it's about a 3x. There'll be people that trade this though, and if you trade it, then using margin, then you would want to basically be coming out if it takes out those lows. So potentially, you could, let's say, to give you an idea, the difference between a trade and an investment. Let's say, for example, that we buy it even where it is right now, just to make this kind of a worst case scenario, right? If you buy it there, where it is right now, and we target $2.26. So I'll make this here. I'll put this one in green because that's our target. So if we enter here on the green line with a stop there and a target there, that would give you a much bigger. So you'd be looking at risking roughly about 30 cents. And you're looking to make roughly, what is that, 160. So give or take, you're looking at about 5.5 to 1 ish. So you could, you can make this a better. You can make it better than a 3x by trading it, and then you can
that's awesome. So for the safer investors, you can 3x, which is still a great return. Or if you want to learn how to trade it, then you can double that again, potentially. Obviously, do your own research and almost get a 6x return on that. Now, if you want to know more about how to trade it, Andy goes through that and breaks it down on a masterclass, a crypto masterclass that we do once a month. So the next one is a few weeks away. So put it in your calendar and we will go into more detail then. Obviously, this is just a show. So we're just touching on the sides, but definitely mark that in your calendar towards the end of the month. And we'll let you guys know when that is if you want to get involved in that. So looking at a few of the comments, Nick is saying, so Andy's saying he's holding XRP. He's holding it for a minimum of 5 years. Nick is saying last Monday it was meant to go to $25. So look, this is a great little segment. We can dispel and either say some news is true, some news is BS. This one is most likely BS because of what we've just done there. It would take something absolutely massive to make it go to 150 per coin. Not saying that it can't, but the chances are less than 1%. And as Zachariah is saying, that would be intergalactic to the moon exponential. So I think that one puts a fork in that. That is well and truly false, those news on $150 a coin XRP by the end of this year, 2021. Cool. So if you've got any more questions or if you hear any myths, post them in the group and then we can break them down on the show every Tuesday. So with that being said, we want to jump in. I want to make sure we leave enough time to really go into the nuts and bolts, because I love this when we do this and we get a load of people saying that they love it too. When we really get to go into Ethereum and we get to dive into Bitcoin. So I want to give you as much time as we possibly can with this 60-minute segment. So let's jump into one of them. We've also got John tuning in live on YouTube. He's saying, do you guys do Bitcoin? So yeah, we're going to break it down right now. Do you want to do Bitcoin or Ethereum first, Mr. Demi?
Which
was the one you got the alert for?
It was Bitcoin.
Do you want to do that one first then and check in on it?
Okay. Right. So I'm just going to go back to a daily chart here. So this is I've got to be honest, I've got mixed thoughts on Bitcoin, but we don't need to know the whole picture to make money. That's the important thing to know. I just need to know the next phase. And the next phase looks quite clear to me. So that's what I want to share with you guys, because that's the most important phase. Everything else, I could give you a very good, valid argument for whether we're going much higher or whether we're going much lower. So it's about trading what we see right now. And then you want to have an investment strategy. So what do I see right now? Well, if I just go back to this. So one of the things, if you guys recall, I've been saying this for a long, long time. When we were doing these shows, I was talking about this line here that just kept acting as resistance. And I said, look, we're going to have to break it if we're going to go higher. And you can see the market was getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and eventually it broke, and then the market did go higher. And what we spoke about back then was, if it breaks here, then the next target is going to be to go and hit this line, right? So, which it did. Now it's done that. And then the important thing is then, so it's had a big, big run. And we had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up days in a row, a little consolidation, and then a big up move there, which basically has reached this kind of channel line at the top. Now, here's the important thing that I can see here. The important thing right now is that this line was a very reactive line, okay, because as you can see up here, it had acted as resistance, and it was a great reactive angle on this point here. So you might have expected this market to potentially fall here, right? It didn't. Now, this happens a lot. Why? Because a lot more institutions are involved now. So what's happened? Well, we've kind of had a bit of a fake out. We've pushed higher aggressively and then immediately reversed it, creating this evening star formation. And we're now below this yellow line, which basically means that the next phase right now is probably down. So it's probably down, but I'm not saying we're going to go and take out these lows. It can be down and then up, but we can't decide that right now. It's almost impossible to know what's going to happen, whether we're going to go a bit higher or not. What we want to do is we want to focus on, well, where is the probability? So right now, for me, I'd be looking at this line now to act as resistance to potentially go down and test these areas or this area here. So, and then we'll kind of see if we break back above it. Now, the other kind of scenario that we've got, depending on what happens here, is if we immediately break back above this line, that's now telling me something different. What that's telling me is that we've now gone into range mode, and it's probably a flag, which is bullish. So with the current information that I have, I'm looking at this as an evening star, a fake out, gone back below the yellow line, probably looking to do a retracement. So that's called a retracement. Alternative number two is this market immediately goes back through this and just holds like this and creates this kind of flag. If that happens, that's going to be very bullish, and I'd be then expecting a big push higher towards, I'll show you, let me just get rid of those. We're going to look to find the next old support, which comes in around 48,700. So you can see there's, well, we've got this one here as well, which is a little bit lower, around 44, but the most recent one, the most recent support that has not acted as resistance is this one. So it feels like naturally we should go and test this area. Now, I would love for this to happen. I would love for Bitcoin to go back down towards this channel line here. For those that understand the fibs, that would take us down to the orange line, which would give us a target of the orange, which is right there. So I'd love for us to be able to buy Bitcoin here to target back towards 48,000, and I would take profit there. I think that is a really nice swing setup if we can get it. From a trading point of view, whilst we remain below this yellow line, we should be looking for pullbacks to potentially sell, and that's where the lower time frames come into it. Now, if I just show you one more thing, guys, structure is really important, and I just want to show you something here. Hold on, let's go back over here. I'm just gonna, yeah, it's fine. I don't want to lose my, in fact, let me do something. Let me just go to another Bitcoin chart. Just want to show you something without anything on it.
I don't know about you guys that are watching, but just for me, for someone that is nowhere near the level of a professional trader like Andy, gives me so much confidence to know, even if I'm going to buy at spot, to have an idea of where would be a good price for me to get in, and then where to target before I'm expecting to kind of hit any retracements, or at least I have a target. So potentially we're looking at one scenario, could be it goes back down to 34, 32. and then goes back up to 48,000, right, mate?
Yeah, that for a swing setup, that's a really good setup if you can get that price, especially if it can go down the same trajectory that I pointed out, which is the bottom of that channel.
Yeah.
Right now, we have to just focus. I mean, I'm focusing more on a potential trading opportunity. So the next phase, essentially, like, because I can make money off the next phase, and then we'll figure the rest out as it happens. That's the best way to do it. So all these kind of crazy predictions and, you know, XRP to $150 or Bitcoin to 100 by the end of the year and all these other things. I believe in Bitcoin to 100,000, by the way, but I don't know when. You know, we don't have a crystal ball, but we can absolutely predict the next phases and react and make money, which is the ultimate game. That's what we're doing this for. So market structure here is showing me something. So if you have a look how the market has moved, so we're getting these kind of moves up, right? This move down, it's the first time in this move anyway that, you know, if you kind of look at these as like low point, high point, 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 low point. Can you see we've taken out that low for the first time? So now we might be thinking, is the high point going to be lower as well? And where is it going to, you know, and this is where we start to predict, where is it going to kind of be lower? Is it going to have a little push up and then find a lower high, maybe even kind of create that head and shoulders potentially, and then we drop? That's what we're doing now. So that's where all our trading analysis would come into it, to identify that exact turning point. And we are very accurate. We are looking for the high. I'm not looking for the high with, you know, with a 2,000 difference. I'm looking for the high, because that allows me to take a high reward, low risk trade. And so that's, you know, that's beyond what I'm going to do now, but that gives you an idea of what I'm going to be looking for next. And that's why I'm getting alerts to start to let me know we might be in that phase. Go and have a look at your charts and do all that analysis. So that's what I kind of see right now. I think this is the first sign of it, that we could retrace a little bit more here on Bitcoin.
Interesting. And is that the same as what you've taught on FX, especially to me? And just by picking this up, doing this show with you week in, week out, where you're talking about this, hopefully it's the same for you guys. But it looks like we're getting to a market reversal, right? And obviously when the first market reversal is a more extreme move down, am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, it's a potential market retracement rather than reversal at this stage, because it looks, I mean, this line has not held. That's the most important element. Like, but it's important though that we don't go any lower than here. Like, so this push up where we're looking for that short term, like I said, if it just goes through like in the next couple of days and stays here, then most likely this is a flag, and that's very bullish. And then we'd be looking for one of the bottom of the flag basically to buy. We'd be looking for a you know, and then it can be doing something like that. The other route is, as I said, something like that, where we're looking for these sort of areas down here to buy. That would be obviously more favorable, but you've got to apply a different strategy depending on what Bitcoin shows us. This is great if it comes down, but if it flags, you're going to have to trade it differently. You can't just buy it. You'll have to go to the lower time frame to play potentially a momentum trade, or you can look for a value point here. Should we do Ethereum?
Yep, let's do Ethereum. Yeah, just checking in on the comments. We're all good to go.
Let me know.
And before we start that, I should have put this sign up before if I was on my game. Crypto Like a Pro trade setup of the week with Mr. Andy Demi. So we've got it in there now for Ethereum. So we've just so we've demystified and broken down the urban myth about Ripple. There's no way it's going to $150, at least in this market cycle, or very unlikely it's less than a 1% probability. That's based on probabilities. We've just given a really great scenario, or two really great scenarios on Bitcoin. So hopefully you've got your tools sharpened and you're looking for entry points for that. Now, Ethereum's particularly interesting to me because that's had a big move in this last week. So I'm really interested to see what you're thinking and what your thoughts are as a professional trader for Ethereum in the short term, and also maybe in the short to medium range as well. That would be great.
Yeah. So the thing that you want to kind of start with is there's a lot here to say. So I will kind of just share things cohesively so that it makes sense. You know, obviously this is an up move, but we've been in this kind of range here for a little while, and similar to Bitcoin in a different way, it's had that big push up, and then it starts to hesitate, and now it's hesitating even more. But again, it's one of those phases where you're thinking, okay, is this now a retracement where, you know, the market potentially goes and hits one of these lines and then starts to move higher? You know, obviously that's one scenario. Hold on. And then in that case, we would be looking at, you know, taking the Fibonacci from this high point to this low point and identifying areas where the market could go. So one area is right here, 2,330 roughly. That's an area of interest for me. Now, I am looking for a high point to sell this market, and that would be a target for me. And then I'd expect the market to bounce. So from a trading point of view, this is perfect. So if we close like this, I would love it in a sense from a trading point of view, because this is a reactive line. We've closed below it with an evening start. And then again, similar to Bitcoin, I'd expect it to kind of go and test this little line here and then probably drop to here. So I could probably short this with a stop there and take it down to there. That's a high probability setup, especially if we close like that. Now, again, that's kind of identifying what I think is a high probability next market phase. If we're looking at, you know, somebody asked in the chat, like, you know, some people are saying it's broken, some people are not sure if it's broken, it's still in a downtrend. So if we just take, let's go up here and draw something right here. Now, all I've done is I've taken that peak, I've connected it to this peak, and this is roughly like a 45-degree angle line. I don't know how reactive this line is. If I did a bit of extra work, I would identify potentially other lines. I'd check this out a bit more, but that looks quite good actually. So this looks like a decent potential angle for this market, and it's holding. So it's holding. It's failed to hold above here, because normally what happens is the market is moving at a certain speed, and then it can speed up. What you'd really want for me to confirm is wherever it pulls back to. So if it pulls back here and it bounces, the only thing that I would say is high probability is probably a bounce. And we could trade long from here to somewhere like there. And there's various ways we can find our target. Beyond that, again, it's very difficult. Unless we break through here, where we say, okay, it's broken through and now we're here. Now I could start to say with a bit more confidence that actually, yes, it looks like we're heading up. Otherwise, we have to just trade what we see, and anything is possible. Even this is possible, guys. Even that is possible, where we take out these lows. And I know it's probably not what people want to hear, but that still isn't in an uptrend. And this is potentially the first swing of an uptrend, or it's potentially one of those where the retail guys have jumped in. Some of them are buying here, not to miss out. And then they do it again. These little buggers, these institutional players, they do it again, and then they wipe out people, and then that happens. So this is possible. I'm only, and I know some people listening might think, oh, it's a bit non-committal. It's not. It's just that the probabilities aren't there. Like if we were in this phase, if we were here, I will start to talk to you differently, and I start to say, well, look, there's definitely enough evidence to say that the uptrend is probably resumed now. But we're not there. We're not there. And so therefore I'm only saying exactly what I see. So I want to
And that's why we love you. Yeah. That's why we love you, mate. And if you're new to the group, or you're new to this and you don't know Andy's backstory, he used to be one of those buggers in the institutions. So, you know, there's many people out there that have learned how to make money, technical analysis and trading. Of course, hats off to them. But there's very few people that used to work and have really serious knowledge of the background of how hedge funds and institutions work, and who actually used to be on the other side of the fence. You're kind of like Darth Vader that's turned over to the Force, right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I was never bad, but you know, it was just
But as if they're like the resistance, the hedge funds and the institutions. They're like the Matrix, right? And then you've come over to work for the light side on the Jedi.
Yeah, you can look at it like that. Darth Demi.
Zach, that is awesome. That is comment of the month already, and we've only just started. Darth Demi, that is it. That's classic. But seriously, that is the thing. Darth Demi has been in that environment for many, many years, right? So you know you can say this with conviction. And if you were on that side and it was your job to push the market down, is that where you would be targeting?
Yeah. So the thing with it's more a case of like, if I was on the other side and wanted to buy it cheap, this is what you would do. Like you'd make sure the highs were broken and people will be jumping in here, not to miss out on the move. So if you've had FOMO off the back of this move, it's probably done on purpose to make you feel that way. So the easiest way, so if anybody's bought and they bought on leverage, for sure they'll get killed if we take out these lows. And then the market reverses. So you can see this is like this yellow line here is a big long-term old resistance, and what I could actually do as well is, because then you could replicate this, you can also just see exactly there is support. So that is roughly around that sort of 1500, 1600, which we spoke about, didn't we, for a little while ago? Yeah. I don't know if we're going to do this or not. What I would say to you guys is, right now is not the time to invest at this price, in my opinion. You can, on spot, if you're dollar cost averaging, if your strategy is just every month, I have a direct debit of £200 a month that goes into Ethereum no matter what the price is. By the way, that's not a bad strategy, especially if you don't want to do a lot of work, because we believe in the long-term prospects, and we believe that Ethereum will be much, much higher than even these highs in the future. 10K is the next big target. And then I think it's going to go even higher than that to 20, 30, 40K. I could say that with a lot of confidence that I believe that. So if you're doing that, then of course you can buy now. Like that's your strategy. You're just buying every month. Like it's the start of the month, end of the month. You're buying your £200 worth. That's fine. Don't break that rule. But what I'm saying, if you're not doing that and you're just looking for a good spot, I wouldn't be buying right at resistance. I would at least be looking for a better value area. In many ways, it doesn't matter on spot because, like we said, if the market is going to go much higher, but it matters in the sense that if you're buying at 2.5 and you could have bought at 1,500, you're going to buy more, and that could be worth 50, 60 grand in the future, like extra. So that's the balancing act. But yeah, so for me right now, I don't see, and until we show more strength. I mean, this has had a big run as well, and yeah, it's for those that whether that are saying that it's still in a downtrend. I understand that. I understand why people say that. I mean, we could take this white line actually, and also just put that there as well. And again, that's a resistance point which has held in the past. So again, this could be another thing that happens, like that sort of spike up there where it looks like it's breaking out and then it doesn't. So you just got to be careful. I mean, my preference is to trade this right now because I think there's really great trading opportunities. So if we create this evening star, like for me, you should just be looking for that pullback to sell. And a really simple tip is this. Take that high to low move and mark down the key fibs and what levels they are, and then go and do your magic on the lower time frames and identify if there's any opportunities between here and here to short. So that would be if it stays like this, that would be the zone. So any kind of pullback in this block here, say tomorrow, you'd be looking to sell it. Does that help, guys? Does that make sense?
So let us know in the comment section, guys. We are coming towards the end of the show, but as I'm sure you'll agree, we've crammed in quite a lot in the show today, and that's the way we want it to be. Cut out the fluff and just get right to it. And we love to have a laugh, and Darth Demi is a great shout. Oh, that's brilliant. So BJ saying perfect, thanks. Yeah, and maybe it's probably also Con's in the house. He's saying, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe for some people who are quite new, maybe there's a lot to take in there. So maybe it's worth rewatching it back. So, and Zach's also saying that explains a lot. I thought the range would end last month. I think there's quite a lot of us with regards to sentiment in the market. We're expecting something to happen in August, whether it's the middle to the end of the month, and then maybe September we break out. But yeah, alls we can go off, and this man doesn't kind of silver coat it or anything. He says what he sees, and that's one of the reasons why we love him, because Darth Demi has been on both sides, and he can kind of let us see what is actually really going to happen. And yeah, it might be hard for you to hear that if you're leveraged out of your, I was going to say a slightly swear word then, if you're leveraged over what you should be, and you don't want to be hearing that. But look, this is part of it. You've got to be able to manage your emotions, and obviously not let greed get the better of us as well. And then on the other side of that, make sure that you take action and don't wait for a perfect price. So there's this continual, eternal game that we're all going to be facing in our own way, and everybody's got their own ways and things that they've got to work through. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that, mate. It's been It's been awesome. If nobody's got any questions, then that's the show. Packed, action-packed, full of content, and we leave you with all of that. Is there anything else you want to say at the moment, Mr. Demi?
No, I think what I'm personally doing is at the moment I'm probably taking 1 to 2 trades a day. That's it. And one of the best things that I've really figured out for myself is that you really don't need to be in front of your screens all the time. You just need to be very, very organized, and you need to do your work when you are. I'm going to be sending a video actually later, which is talking about peak state, but that's really, really important. So when I'm doing my work, if I need to be in the right state, and once I've done that work is done, and I know it's high quality work, that's going to make me money at some point in the month. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. And then it's just about being organized as we teach, making sure your alerts in, making sure all your notes are properly done, your screenshots. And then just when you have time to look at the markets, go through what you've done, the work that you've done, and make sure that you're being really, really focused on what you're looking for, rather than trying to find a million different things, looking at 100 different cryptocurrencies. Just focus and be relaxed, and you will just start to make money effortlessly. That's what it feels like to me. It's quite effortless. I don't force the trade. I just do the work, and then I say, well, that's the zone. That's where the stop needs to go. That's where the target needs to go. And it feels effortless, like really effortless. And I take 1 to 2 trades a day. And that is a better strategy than buy and hold right now, in my opinion. Like, buy and hold, it's good to have investments, but the market is still ranging. And if you've bought from the bottom, that's fine. But if you want to buy now, the market's had a bit of a push. So I would definitely wait until we get confirmation of where the markets are going. So yeah, that's kind of really all I wanted to share. You just want to get into that state where you're not pushing yourself to trade, but it feels natural. The trade makes sense to you, and that's it. And like Gavin said, if you're new to trading, we do run regular master classes, which we'll invite you to.
Exactly that. So that one's a few weeks away, but that has been an awesome show. Thank you very much for that content. Thank you guys, each and every one of you, for tuning in live. Also, thanks to everybody that we know. If you're at work or you're out and about enjoying life, you will catch the rerun. So hi to you guys as well. And yeah, that's it from us. So we are going to bounce. And yep, look out for more content in the week. If we don't see you before next week, then remember we've got our Pips Like a Pro show, which is the FX version of this. So we do a similar thing. So we go through all the big news events in the world of FX. Yesterday we went through the Dixie, which was awesome. Found out a really new hack and kind of a high-level pro way of breaking that down to get the most accurate ways of moving and telling where the dollar is going to be moving over the next days and weeks and months. And then from that data, we go into the charts and find a high probability, low risk trading setup. So that's Mondays. We've got you covered for FX. Tuesdays, we've got you covered for cryptos. Like Andy said, he is going to be giving you a video on how to get into your peak state for trading to try and start making money in a more effortless state. This man is a content producing machine. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that in the Facebook group. Guys, thank you very much for everything. We are going to love you and leave you. So yeah, that's it from us. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.